likes and views are key.
That's 13 million views.
I know.
13 million people saw me crying.
We sit down with those who've been labeled influencers.
And then she just leans in and goes, Hannah, the two girls behind me are talking about you.
And get to the bottom of who they really are as people. Welcome to Under the Influencer, hosted by Evan Sloan. What's going on? Okay, hey everyone, this is Evan Sloan. Welcome to the next episode of Under the Influencer. I have a very special guest here with me today. Her name is Hannah Forcier.
Oh, wow. Right? I didn't know if you were talking about me for a minute. You said very special, and I was like, who?
You I couldn't wait. Over.
I thought someone was going to come out of, like, the door. Yeah.
Did I say it right? Forcier?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Forcier.
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 Forcier, that's it.
The French pretentious way. You know? Not how I was raised. No.
Not even a little bit.
No.
That's good. That's a good thing to know.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's start out with this. Where do most people know you from? Like, what's your biggest platform?
My biggest platform is YouTube.
Okay, YouTube. And what are your like numbers on there? Like, how many followers you got? Or
okay,
fans?
So right now we're almost at 500,000, which is crazy.
That is insane.
Because I've known you for a minute now.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And way before all of this. This is in like a year and a half.
Oh my
worth
God.
of videos, yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
Well,
I mean,
amazing.
having a viral video of me crying kind of helps.
I'm sure that would help. I'm sure that would help.
Right. That's 13 million views.
I know.
13 million people saw me crying about something I accidentally did to myself.
That's amazing, though. That's amazing, though.
Yeah,
sure. I mean, it's kind of like
it
to
is.
think like that's how it all
I
started.
thought my life was over, and now it's like surprise. Now I have a career and people that look up to me, and I'm being asked to be on podcasts. So there's that.
Exactly.
This is my high time. This podcast, this is the peak.
This is. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I don't know if I agree, but it's okay. Okay, cool. So I have a list of questions here that I'm just gonna roll through.
I can't wait.
I had your name up, your tag, everything. I was like, let's do this.
I wish everyone could see it.
Right? Maybe I'll do a picture of it. I don't know. All right, so let's get a little bit more to know about you, right? Okay. So tell me about where you're from.
I'm from a very small town in northern New Hampshire.
Northern New Hampshire.
The middle of the mountains.
Okay.
It looks like a bowl when you walk outside. Yeah. Mount Washington, like the tallest one is there.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom.
Right at the
That's
bottom.
where I live. Yeah.
Okay, and what was it like growing up there for you? Like, what do you remember from your childhood?
I mean, I remember that everyone was the same.
Oh, really?
Everyone thought the same. Everyone did the same stuff, you know? And so it wasn't until I got into theater that I was like, oh my gosh, there's at least two different types of people. The people that enjoy theater and the people that don't, you know?
Exactly.
And so I guess a lot of people over there are very like hunting, fishing, you graduate high school and you stay. You don't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's it. And you have family and maybe you have a lake cabin and an actual house. I don't know. And then there's skiing, snowboarding, but guess how many of those I'm into? None
0.
of them. So, which of course I didn't realize till later anyways, because I was like, oh, that's the norm. That's what everyone does. Can't wait to marry someone from high school and then, have babies at 22 years old. Nope, probably not. So
I feel like that's interesting. I come from a town in Jersey that is very similar, like very small townish. I mean, obviously there's the opportunity to go to New York and try to do something over there, but a lot of people will just stay there, not try to do anything different. Yeah, it's so because
that's what I missed actually when I first moved, because I was like, wow, I don't know if I'll ever feel that comfort again.
But that's interesting because like I feel like we're part of that generation that's not going to be comfortable ever.
Yeah, I feel that too.
We're just not going to be comfortable because we have like where our parents come from and like all that life. We remember what it was like to have no internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're in that kind of like bracket.
That's true.
But it's really interesting. But okay, so you were talking about your family. Like what was your family life like? Do you have was there anyone in your family that was a creative type?
Yeah, actually. Okay. So I have 4 siblings. I'm the middle of 5.
Okay.
My mom is an author.
Oh, wow.
And my dad, not for money, but it makes music, right?
Amazing. Mm-hmm. What kind of music?
more like country style.
Okay.
He's like a little storyteller.
Nice.
Singing some songs. So he got me in the studio to sing some songs with him. And
That's...
that was his dream for me, is to be a country singer.
A country...
Yeah. Fun fact that's out there now. I also illustrated my mom's book. So my parents were very into me, like, being a part of their stuff and being creative and keeping it going. And actually what helped fund me moving to LA was selling paintings. Wow. Yeah, I like opened up booths places, and I would paint and sell them on the spot.
That's amazing. See, this is all news to me.
I know, surprise! Not a lot of people know this, I guess. But I've always had that creative piece, and my family was so into it. But it was actually really confusing for me, because when I was first like, hey, I think I'm going to move to LA, my mom was like, all right, cool. I mean, have fun. And my dad was like, that doesn't sound like you could do that.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you
Interesting.
mean? And he's like, well, I mean, our families are here. Like right here, so why would you move away?
Right.
And I was like, oh God, now I'm being told I can't do something. This is a first.
Right.
But I mean, here I am.
Here you are.
My dad still thinks I'm on vacation, so 3 years. He's like, oh, hey, your birthday's coming up. Like, this is gonna be the third time I don't say happy birthday to you, so that's weird. I'm like, oh gosh.
Okay, yeah. So, my God, I didn't know any of that stuff. That's amazing. So see, that's what's so cool about it, because sometimes you meet people who are just, they had no support from their family, and they just wanted to come out and try. This is the dream. I want to just do this because that's what everyone tells us that we want from social media. Like, this is what they want us to do. This is what it's supposed to be like. But the fact that you actually had some support, and like you come from a creative family, it's not surprising that you're doing well. Truthfully, it's not surprising.
Thank you. I mean, the YouTube aspect is out of their range. They have no idea.
For sure.
No
but
idea.
That's the thing though, because you're part of that like generation that's coming up. You grew up with it,
right?
So you know how to like manipulate that stuff when they may not understand it, but they can still.
My dad lives in a van.
Wow.
My dad has a flip phone and barely has it on.
Yeah.
So my dad, to him, he's like, how do you make money?
Right.
How does that?
That's the thing. They don't know.
And he's like, 13 million views. Cool. So
what does that mean?
Why? Where can I see that many people have seen that? And I'm like, oh, it's a number on a screen. But don't worry about it.
Yo, it's so crazy to me though. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, okay, wait.
So I think that's why I can easily see from everyone's points of view.
Right.
So, like, I will never see myself as, like, a famous person, because there are people in the world that don't even see it like that at all, which is fine. I mean, I barely see it like that, but it's real. In LA, being stopped every time I go to the mall, it's real.
That's a real thing.
So.
Yeah. I feel the same way about that though, right? Because like I feel like there's been so many times, especially in the acting world, because you do some acting as well, right? I find it so interesting that like you can go out and let's say you're having a conversation with like an Uber driver. They're like, oh, what do you do? Like, oh, I'm an actor. Oh, well, what have I seen you in? I'm not going to sit there and be like, look, you should know who I am, because that's the thing, because not everyone's going to see it.
Right.
That's always going to be the case.
Not
Literally
every
always.
social media person is like that though.
Right. Exactly. That's the problem.
I've learned. Yeah.
Here comes the tea. Let's
like,
see the
Cameron,
tea.
Dallas,
right?
It's nice to meet you. Where are you from? He's like, go away.
Exactly. But that's the thing though. You have to understand, sometimes like I don't like to hate on all those people, because sometimes they're coming from like, that's what they know. That's all that they know.
That's all they know.
Yeah. You had like the whole thing with Bieber and like Miley. They never got a chance to be like actual kids.
I know. I feel bad.
Yeah. I mean,
they made my childhood though. My childhood was great. Thank you, Hannah Montana. Thank you, Justin Bieber.
Yeah. Thank you, Disney Channel.
The hair flip really morphed, the boy world. So.
Exactly. But okay, so speaking of that, like when did you like get into social media? Like when did you like jump in?
Okay. Yeah. I remember my friends talked me into getting Twitter like my sophomore year of high school. So that was like 2012, but I still didn't understand it at all.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I graduated high school in 2014 that I got Instagram. And then I heard behind my friends' like backs that they were saying, wow, Hannah does not know how to like use Instagram. Yeah, they were like hating on me because I didn't know how to post photos. I don't know.
Okay.
And so I guess it wasn't until I moved to LA that, and I would make YouTube videos too, just for fun, like for myself, really.
Yeah.
And that's how I made the friends that I moved to LA with. But when I moved to LA, I kind of stopped everything.
Yeah.
And then I got kind of more into modeling. So I was growing on Instagram a lot. And then I got into live streaming. So social media was slow.
A slow burn.
Slow.
A slow burn.
Well, coming from northern New Hampshire, I mean, people are still like Instagram.
Still trying to figure it out.
Twitter.
Yeah.
They now know what
hashtag?
Facebook is. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Facebook is at this point.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. I mean, it's either that or MySpace.
And that's why I'm
right?
not there. I'm MySpace. Oh my gosh.
Or Zanga. What was the other one?
I don't even know. My mom wouldn't let me have a MySpace. She's like, internet's scary.
It is very scary.
It is scary.
It is very scary.
It is. Now there's less of a chance that the person on the other side of the screen is, like a crazy person that isn't their profile picture.
Right.
Because now there's at least videos. And like I knew who I was moving to LA with, not only because I met them at least once in person, but I also watched their videos and FaceTimed with them and, Skyped with them.
Yeah.
But
cool. That's the thing, though. Now you have these Snapchat filters that make you look like a girl, and it's like, who knows?
Right. I know. I was actually stunned by that because there was like long hair in that one, and I'm like, that's not me. That doesn't look like me.
Not me. This isn't me at all. No, I think it's ridiculous. But like, okay, so once you started getting into like the routine of social media and like just kind of like falling into place a little bit with it, what do you remember liking about it before it got too crazy? Like what was so simple about social media that you like?
I liked YouTube because I guess I grew up like my home videos are not just we're going to Disney. It's like today we're in the jungle and I think we're gonna end up at Disney, and it was like a huge theatrical thing. So those were my home videos. When I got onto YouTube in like 2015, I was like, wait, I can sit here and pretend I'm like someone else maybe, and then today I can be doing this, and that was just fun. That was just me putting my creative juices out there, and it wasn't like filming and it's on a camera forever on like a tape or a little CD. This is just on the computer, so now I can bring it up anywhere. So it really wasn't for anyone but me and like my friends.
So that was it. You were just making videos for yourself. Yeah. That's what it should be. Like and it's funny because like I've talked to a lot of people about this, and it seems like when people go back to what they loved about anything, that's when they enjoy it again. That's when they find their love for it again. Yeah. So that's an interesting point. But you and then you talked about this earlier about the viral video, but I wanted to go a little bit into it. I was going to say, what was your first taste of social media fame?
Okay.
And like just to like give you a full question, what was your first taste of the social media fame? What was it for? And what was that like for you?
Okay.
Like, what was that experience like?
I mean, well, I was live streaming nonstop for a year. It was like every day. That's just what I liked. I already did YouTube before, and I knew how much editing and free time I would need. And at that point, I was working like 8 to 5 at a business office in downtown LA, and so live streaming and telling stories live was my creative outlet at that point. And so I guess I was like noticed on there, but it was nothing that I really understood in like a real world thing until I used the wrong hair product and my hair fell out. And at that point I don't even remember if it was like 100,000 followers on the live streaming app or something, which was probably half not real people. By the way, that's
I know all about it. I know all about it.
But I posted the video, and at that point I was so like low in my life, and I didn't want to leave the apartment ever. I was like, I'm gonna put out this one video for literally my family and my friends to see, and anyone that cared. And then I was going to move home and sit in a room for the rest of my life. That's what I wanted. I was like, I'm giving up on everything. Yeah. I don't like how I look. And how can I go out in the everyday LA life not liking myself, So that was my plan. Yeah. So I posted the video, and within like a week, I think it was at like 500,000 views. And I was like, there's no way. I'm like, great. So, but it wasn't all good things. Like, it was all my family being like, oh my gosh, like now I understand why Hannah took all of her photos down and what's going on. And now it's strangers being like, oh, that you look great though. And then a lot of people like, wow, you are ridiculous. Right. I can't believe you're crying because your hair, like, are you serious? Right. And I'm the person that cries from like a haircut, or I was. I was. And now I went from having like, longer blonde hair to a buzzed like like 2 centimeters of hair on my head.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So that video went up, and within a few weeks, it was considered viral, which I had to Google because I'm like, I mean, is this real? I don't know.
A real thing? Yeah.
Does that really go viral? And then because so many people asked what I was going to do next, or what the product was and stuff, then I made a follow-up video. And I'm like, wow, well, people are following me too. They're not just watching, they're following me.
Right.
So they want to know what I do next. And I already had like the background of editing and knowing what I like to put out there for videos. So I'll keep going.
Yeah.
So I decided to post twice a week from then on. And at that point, people could get more of a taste of my personality, which I really needed.
Yeah.
I did not want people to only know me as a girl that messed up and was crying.
Out, yeah.
Because that's not me anyways. I don't even cry to my friends.
Right.
And now I'm like known for crying on the internet.
Right.
It was like the new Kardashian like meme of her like crying, you know. But anyways, so it wasn't until like 2 or 3 weeks later, like the end of October, as it started in the beginning, that I went to the mall to buy some makeup, and I like came around the corner, and like a mom, like a 30-year-old mom with a kid in the cart, comes around the corner and goes, "Oh my gosh, Hannah?" And I thought I like knew her. So I was like, hi. And I'm like, wait, I don't know anyone with a baby out here at least.
I don't know anyone with a baby.
I don't know. No, babies don't know them. So I'm like, hi. And she's like, I was just watching your video. Like I looked up hair loss because my hair started thinning from having a kid. And I was like, oh, no way. Wow. And she's like, yeah, I just, that's so funny. Like, congrats on, how like everything went afterwards and stuff, and you actually helped me, and you made me realize that like it's okay, whatever happens, and it's mainly stress anyways, so it made me feel less stressed out after watching your video. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. This is a real stranger that really just told me that she watched my video and it helped her.
Yeah.
And then she was like, bye. She got a photo with me, and then she's like, okay, see ya.
That must have been like super surreal for you.
Yeah.
Was that like, because I have a question later on, was that like one of your favorite like fan interactions or like most surreal moments?
Yeah, that was the first one. And then my second favorite one, not to jump around questions, but I picked up my older sister from the airport, LAX, and that was like her first time or second time visiting LA, but first time visiting after my hair thing. And she came to visit to comfort me. Like, this is still within the first few months.
Right.
And so I picked her up and we went to Chick-fil-A.
Nice.
And as I was sitting there, and there were these 2 girls that were sitting like behind her.
Okay.
And my sister Danny was telling me some story about the plane, and then she just leans in and goes, Hannah, the 2 girls behind me are talking about you. And I was like, what? And she's like, no, they're straight up being like, OMG, this is Hannah's new video. That's definitely her. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, do I stand up? Do I say hi to them? I don't know. This is awkward. Like, are they making it awkward, or like, am I just awkward? I don't know what to do. Yeah. And so I finally just like turned and I looked at them, and they just kind of like made eye contact with me. And I was like, are you guys watching my videos right now? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So that was specifically really cool because not only were 2 girls watching my video and trying to figure it out like in front of me, but my sister got to witness it too. Yeah. And so in front of family, when they came from so far away and would never see that in their everyday life, they're witnessing that happening to me. And I was like, this
special.
This is real cool.
That's like super cool moment. And did you like hang out with those girls and like talk to them a little bit? Or?
Yeah. Went over and got some photos of them, and they posted it right afterwards. And they were like, I can't believe.
That's fun though. Yeah. That's amazing.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So, now when a fan came up to me at Disney with my dad, and they were like, hey, oh my gosh, we love you. Took a photo. They walked away. I looked at my dad. I was like, cool, right? This is your first time seeing that. Like, this online thing is a real thing. He's like, oh, well, you didn't introduce me to them. You should have told them I write music. And I was like, are you serious? Are you serious? There's no way.
Ever the opportunist.
This was my moment.
Ever the opportunist.
Yeah. He's like, you didn't even tell them about me. I was like, oh my gosh, you're joking. Oh
that's really funny though. I do want to go back and touch on something real quick that you mentioned, because you said when your hair started to fall out, you took your Instagram pictures off. You kind of wanted to like.
Oh yeah, I was ready for it to be the end of everything.
Right, but like now, was that because you had had you at that point like really fallen into the social media routine? Because like the way I see it is this, right? Because like if you were thinking so much about what your image looked like and not who you were as a person, right? Then that means that not everything, but like a lot of the things that you were doing and posting were all specific, like had to be something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was growing a lot on Instagram at that time because I was in this little social media group where we were friends with a photographer and a bunch of other like influencers that did different things. So I regularly did photo shoots and was like kind of contracted under my photographer friend that we were going to be posting like every day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it became very much my looks. And me being blonde, like we strategically were like, oh, I'll be blonde and then sometimes I'll have purple hair or pink hair. And my hair was the identifier for me.
Oh, interesting.
So when that was the main thing that, you know, was fun for me too, that became kind of a creative outlet on its own, was like, what color is my hair going to be? What color are my nails going to be? And I still didn't really have money for different clothes, but at least I was growing an online presence, you know, as a blonde girl, you know, that was super bubbly in that way. So when turns out my whole looks was everything I was holding on to. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So
it's interesting how that like can change in an instant.
Oh yeah. But I thought I'd finally like found myself. I'm like, I'm in LA. Yeah. I'm in Hollywood every day. This is me. I'm the bubbly girl that's known for this and sparkles on my face all the time. Yeah. And then that wasn't me. And
then but it's interesting that you had to go through that, because I feel like that led to who you are now.
Oh,
not
absolutely.
to say that you were better, worse before or now, but like.
Well, I can say that now.
Listen, I knew you back then. No. But still, though, like that's like you have to. That's the thing. You have to go through these things so that you actually get a chance to realize who you are.
Oh, and I can say I was so lost. Yeah, I was extremely lost. I really thought I knew who I was. Yeah, and I was totally wrong. Yeah, I was so wrong.
But I mean, thank God.
I know. I guess, right? Thank God. Thank God I mean, I would have been that person that's like, oh, you don't know where I'm from. You don't know who I am. Exactly. That could have been me. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, but see, the fact that you like decided to make that video, right? Yeah. And again, you said you made it for the people who follow you, like the people, but more so for your friends and family to like figure out what's going on. Yeah. And again, you made a video back to like what you used to do when you were a kid.
Yeah, that's true.
And you see what I'm saying? How that whole thing happens?
What a circle.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's
here's the thing. I was like, I thought about it and I was telling my roommates, and I'm like, I could go live and tell everyone that follows me on there, like, hey, I don't have hair anymore. It's a subject I don't want to talk about. Right. I'm going to say this once. Right. Because not everyone's going to be there. Right. I mean, I can tell my mom 50 times, and she can tell every other aunt and uncle I have, but
that's it.
So I'm like, at least in video format, it can go out once, and that'll be it. Right. But I mean, turns out now I still talk about it all the time, but it's not a sore subject. It's something that became a wake up call.
Absolutely. That's so cool to me, though. Yeah. I love that that's a thing. And the thing is like, you know, as an artist or as someone who's like finally got something like that hit where a bunch of people had eyes on it now, you kind of have to be like willing to talk about that moment. Right. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because that's the defining moment that in everyone else's eyes.
Right.
Not for you, but in everyone else's eyes, the people who are watching, that's your defining moment, which is upsetting because you're more than that. But at the same time, like it's good to talk about it and just, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's funny because when a lot of people end up having, especially random like viral videos, and that becomes their like claim to fame, they become something they're not.
Exactly.
Or it seems so. But I became something I was.
You became yourself.
I became myself again.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing. I love that.
It's real different.
Yeah, it's super different. So
that's why I can't speak like other influencers, because that didn't happen like that.
Different. Yeah, no, it's different for everybody. Yeah. Everyone has their own experience of like getting into the world, and like that's why I wanted to like talk about it. Yeah. But then so once you got into this and you were like posting more and whatnot, did you think that like friendships changed? Yeah. Did like things start to change a little bit for you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's too much, you don't have to talk about it.
It's not too much. I mean, just not name names, but I'm just kidding. Yeah. So I guess a few friends I guess they weren't really friends, because as soon as the video stuff happened, I then also had like a full-time job. I decided I was going to post 2 videos a week. Right. So now I'm spending like 4 or 5 days a week, just me in my apartment alone. And so I guess a lot of people saw me as someone that like had their claim to fame and now only like wants to hang out with certain people or something. But I was really just alone.
Right.
I was just figuring out my next move and stuff. So yeah, a couple friends saw that as something else and thought that I wasn't being friends with them anymore. But then I also found that some other influencer friends of mine decided that they wanted to see me more and they wanted me to be in their stuff, which is cool, and I don't mind. I'm like, here, I have this platform, I like you, that's fine. But I did notice I felt like there was a lot of ill intentions behind a lot more friendships than I thought. So it definitely made me stand back and look at relationships and differently.
Right.
Which is sad.
It's super sad. Well, and that's the thing though too, right? Because these are the people you hang out with. These are the people you spend your time with and you work with now, because social media's become a job for a lot of people, right? So, and I feel like it's an interesting thing when you start to mix relationships with work, and especially like, you look at social media and that was work. That's work.
It is very much. And like I don't even know, like just an example, like a friend would be like, hey, like, do you want to hang out? I haven't seen you in forever.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I would love to. The last few interactions a few years ago, great, I would love that. So I show up and they're like, oh, well, don't you want to post that we're together or something? And I'm like, why would you say that?
How crazy is that?
Like, because, I mean, if me as like average everyday person, of course I'm going to be like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm with my friend maybe, but like for what audience? And I'm like, but now, do you just want to be seen by my audience?
Right.
There's so many other things going on in my head now.
There's a lot. And that's the thing. It's hard to tell what's genuine and what's not.
Yeah.
It's so hard because this is like, I feel like one of the things is like there's a lot of people who have an online presence and they have their personal, who they are offline.
Yes.
And there aren't many people who are the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Very true.
I mean, because we've gone to plenty of conventions before together. Like I've seen you at all these other things like VidCon and Playlist and this and that.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that like you'll meet some people who have these huge personalities online, just the most, ridiculous outgoing people. And then you meet them in person and you can't have more than 4 words of conversation with them.
Right.
And it's just so interesting to me that how like some people's presence and their personality is just so different from what they put out online. It's interesting.
Well, you know what's funny? My best friend is my roommate right now, and she'll help me film half the time. And she'll make comments like, oh, I have like my filming voice on or something. Because I'm standing up because instantly, like for my videos, I'm very high energy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes them funny. And that for me, I mean, I want to watch my own videos when I look like I'm having a good time.
Absolutely.
And so she has the camera and I'm like, okay, turn on. I'm going to see something funny right now. and then when I'm editing it back, she's like, oh my gosh, stop. It's so loud. like while I'm editing it, I'm like, oh, sorry. Which I am like loud half the time anyways. Like I talk like this is how I would film.
Right.
But I do have downtime where I just don't feel like talking and
of course
just want to sit there and I'm like, hey, I'm watching a movie. I'm not screaming right now,
exactly.
So you shouldn't be either. But that's me maybe half the other time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess everyone has their
everyone
on and
has
offs.
It. Absolutely.
But it is funny when some people have these different personalities online completely.
Right.
Than in person.
Well, I was gonna say that's not you. You've always been the same person. Like
Thanks.
At least to me.
Well, I'm always on when I'm with you.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Very like high energy.
Yeah.
I mean, when have you seen me like sad and like not wanting to talk?
That's a good point.
That's
a good point.
Yeah. We should hang out more.
We should hang out.
See me sad a lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, want to see me cry?
Yeah, let's do it. High five.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll probably cry right next to you. It's all good.
Okay, I cry. You cry, I cry.
Yeah, that's what happens. Okay, so we touched on that relationships bit, but I want to know was there ever a time where you had like a public relationship that like everyone knew about, like all of your fans knew about, and it was this big deal, and like you had to make moves based on that?
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, did you ever have anything like that?
I do know what you mean. Wow. I guess not. Like, I've never had like a fake online relationship with someone, like calling someone a friend and they really weren't.
Right.
But yeah, I got my first taste of like someone using me.
Okay.
And it was a guy. It was not my ex-boyfriend, but it was a guy that had so many ideas and he wanted to film with me and thought it would be a funny thing because as soon as we started filming and like posting that we were friends, fans were already commenting, like of fans of both of us saying, oh my gosh, I think they're going to date. I think they like each other. And then the more we filmed, the more I started to like him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. Like, everyone online, like, ships us.
Right.
I ship us.
Right.
And he just, like, wanted to film more and more. And now it's like, oh, maybe in this thumbnail, will it kind of look like we're into each other? And I'm like, oh, that's kind of easy. But,
right.
But yeah, sure. So it was very, like, played up. But then, like, after, like, a few weeks, it, like, hit me really hard that was not real. None of it was real.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't know him, like, at all. Because he really was so for, like, pushing to do content together. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, by the way, I'm going on a date with this girl and, like, blah, blah, blah about her. And I was like, that's, okay, well, I guess I didn't know that this was, like, a contracted thing where we were, like, online gonna look like we were dating, and then we weren't, kind of.
Right.
Yeah, so that was real weird.
Yeah. And then, like,
yeah,
do you
that
feel
hurt.
Like, of course it did. Do you feel like but and that's the thing, too. You talked about the fans and whatnot. Do you feel like they helped push the dial, at least in your head?
Fans, it's weird. So I guess fans are, like, on the level of, like, your mom.
Right.
Your mom's seeing you with someone, and she's like, hey,
right.
You guys really cute. You know?
That's such a good analogy.
You know? And, like, but it's also, like, your fans being like, oh, my gosh, oh, did you see at 1 minute and 27 seconds in the video, they looked at each other, and so cute. So when you maybe might like someone, and you're, like, reading into that, and you're reading that they see it, too, you're like, oh, my gosh, that other person totally likes me, too. Mm-hmm. They see it. My mom sees it. Right. Could be a thing. Like, when people start seeing you together, then you start seeing it in your own mind.
Right. That's got to be so difficult.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm sure you've had, like, a relationship that, like, stopped.
Oh,
then,
yeah.
like,
I actually just had my first relationship, like, ever.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
And because we were already friends, and I found him on YouTube in 2015.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, we were, like, friends. I liked him online before. Yeah. I was a fan. And then we ended up actually dating, and because YouTube is something we both like to do,
it was just logical. Yeah,
it was easy.
Yeah.
We were like, oh my gosh, we could have a couples channel together.
Right.
But there was a bit of a difference because YouTube is my full-time job.
Right.
And YouTube was still his pastime activity.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so if I have to edit another video a week for a couples channel, then I don't really want to. And I barely want to film because I don't want to put on makeup when I'm not filming my own videos. So there was it was a little hard there. And then like right away, friends were saying, Hannah, watch out. This could be another situation where he just wants to, like, get your fan base or something. Yeah. But I mean, I still don't think that was it at all. But I mean, it didn't work out.
Right.
And afterwards, I realized I didn't even want to talk about the breakup. Like, I didn't want to post a video talking about it. Like, I didn't want him to feel bad, and I also didn't want to give him that audience either.
Right. Didn't give, absolutely.
Yeah, and so slowly, because it's been months and months now since we broke up, but, like, I still haven't officially really been like, yeah, we're not together.
Right.
Here's the story.
Right.
But now it's weird because people feel like they're indebted to a story.
Exactly.
They need that ending.
Exactly.
Because they're watching a show.
Right.
My life is the show.
It's the show for them, right.
And I messed up by making it so public that we were dating. And I was positive that was going to be, like, it forever. Huh. But it wasn't. So now people are like, well, then what happens next?
Right. See, that's the point, though, right? It's interesting, like, when you go...
Like, I envy the fake personalities online. I envy the people that are doing it as, like, a character.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not a character.
But you're not a character, right? But that's what makes it makes it more real.
Yeah.
And it makes it more. I find it so interesting that, like, because of the way, like, social media is, like, just the nature of it. If you get into if you already have a presence, like you said, you were doing YouTube full time, right? So if you already have a presence, and then you start to date someone, and they're in your videos or they're in your content, then you're exposing them to your fan base, like your people and whatnot. Yeah. And then when, like you said, when there's an end to that story, whether it be a good one or a bad one, they want to know. They want to know everything. Yeah. And I feel like it's just it's a hard place for a creator to be, because you still have to be yourself, and you still have to hold your feelings and your you know, you just have to hold your feelings to yourself sometimes. Like, you don't want to have to tell everyone everything that's going on in your life all the time. But because of this world
that was my first real
created,
taste of it. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Because of this world we've created, now we have to.
Right.
We have to. And it's like, I don't want to. I don't want to talk about that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? It's got to be tough, because then it's also like, you know, who knows.
Because it's not like it's not a strategic video.
Right.
That's the thing.
It's never,
And it's funny because the YouTube, like my big, like my big YouTube friends, like right away, they were like, Hannah, your fan base has followed you through this journey of you having your first relationship.
Right.
You have to post a video. It's going to be huge.
Right.
But there is such that piece of me that's like, no. I mean, in a relationship, it's not just my life; it's theirs too.
Exactly.
But if I was that YouTuber business person, I wouldn't even care. I would be like, oh, of course. I'm gonna make this video. That's so strategically. That's brilliant.
It's brilliant. Exactly.
Me crying the next day, so smart. I can picture the thumbnail. But whoa,
right?
You have to take a step back and be like, why am I doing this? Like, what is the point?
Yeah. And it's interesting, like. This is like one of the things that I love about you as a person and a creator, because I knew that you were going through, you know, some of that stuff. Like, I reached out as well, and it's tough. And I've seen your content, I've watched your content before as well, and it's like I was wondering myself, I was like, I wonder if she's gonna do anything about this. But truthfully, the fact that you haven't yet just proves to me that you're not one of those people who are trying to like grab your fans and grab your fan base and say, guys, look at this. I'm trying to make money off this video.
Like, capitalize off my feelings and their feelings.
Exactly. And I don't know. There's something like different about that than most people, because everyone else is going to be, you know, trying to make money off of this stuff. But there's two people involved, right? Like you said.
True.
And you never know if you said something
like I was thinking the only way to go about it would be to have us both talk about it, like together. And I just finally saw him for the first time in person since February and ran out crying.
There you go.
Literally, I saw his face one time and I'm like, I could not make a video, maybe in like a year or something.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But and that's the thing that too, you don't owe anyone that video,
right?
So you don't have to make it if you don't want to.
And it feels good when you know that. Yeah.
You don't have to make that video if you don't want to make it.
Right.
You really don't.
It's fine. There's only been like a few comments here and there that I've kept in videos that like implies that I don't have a boyfriend anymore or something.
Right.
And one of the videos was me and my friend testing hacks.
Okay.
And one of them was a hack for brushing your hair and having there be like no static, you know, in your hair. And so I told her in the video, I'm like, hey, listen, this last hack only you can do. I can't do it because why? Like, what is the one difference that there is between us? And she's like, I have a boyfriend. And I was like, oh. Okay. And she was like, wait, I'm sorry. I have hair. You don't have hair. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, you're right. Both. Okay, you're right. There's two differences. But it was just like a humorous thing. So I kept it in the video. And that was the first time. And then now there's comments, people being like, oh my God, what does she mean by that? Yeah. And like, well, obviously I took down a lot of videos of us. But I'll just leave that up for people to notice or not notice. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine either way.
Because I like the funny, good humored content anyways.
That's fine, you know? 100%. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thanks.
That's really good.
Thanks. I try.
Oh my God. All right. So I get it. Like, this is a few more little questions about this social media thing. It's just a quick
sorry,
one.
I talk forever.
No, I love it. Okay, so I have this one here. Once your following was consistent, did you ever feel pressured to create?
Yes.
Like big time.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about it, because I remember you and I know Amber, a few other people like in our circle of friends. Like when you're creating a lot, you publicly have to say, "I'm taking a break."
Yes.
You feel like you have to say that because everyone's like,
you're
why hasn't
drained.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like it's upsetting that we have to say, "Hey guys, I'm taking a break.
Right.
I can't do this anymore."
Well, here's the thing. Two things that like go through my head. So I'm thinking about, okay, there's people following me. I say I'm putting out 2 videos a week. That's what I'm going to do.
Sure.
Guys, I say it. I'm going to do it. I am work for myself. This is time management on my part. I can do it. But when you're so high energy, I'm sure I'm not the only one that just gets drained. Like, that just takes so much. And at some points you just have to take a break. And so in September, I took like a 2.5 week break, and that, like, I was like shaking. I'm like, no, like what's going to happen? Like they're not going to care about me anymore. Right. And like the algorithm, like what if I take a break and suddenly, because people aren't constantly seeing my face on Instagram or getting my YouTube notifications, then they just won't get them anymore. Mm-hmm. Like what if like something in computers and technology makes it so when I take a break, they actually will be really hard for them to see me again.
Right.
And I'm like, and that's terrifying. My job. Right, I know it is terrifying. So I'm like, well, what do I do? Never take a break, never skip a video, because what if something goes wrong where like suddenly they never get the notification?
Right.
Like ever again?
It's not right.
I know.
It's not
fair.
So
I was like really afraid for my career, but I'm also terrified for my mental health.
For sure.
And so it was in September that I did take like a 2.5 week break. And it was really hard the first like 2 days because I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like, I'm taking like not using my phone at all, and I'm like afraid for my job. But after I got through that one, I'm like, you know what? It's already been 2 days. It's fine. Yeah. And now I can just mental health, hanging out with my dog. Went on a road trip. Yep. Went home to see my family. Like didn't wear makeup, didn't touch my phone, wore like the same shirt every day for like 2 weeks.
Did it not feel amazing though?
It felt so good.
It brought you back to your roots.
Oh, it felt so good.
It brought you back to who you really are.
And then when I was like, and when I got back to LA, I still had a few days where I was like, no, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
I don't have like a plan, and I don't feel like making a plan for like the next video. So
that must have been amazing.
Oh God, it felt so good. Yeah, I can't wait for the next one.
I feel like more people need to take that.
Yeah.
That,
and nothing happened too much that like people didn't get notified when I was back. Like a lot of people didn't even notice I was gone. Surprisingly, a lot of people didn't notice. They're like, oh, I didn't know. And I'm like, yeah, took a whole 2 week break where I like cried and was worried and then felt better.
Isn't it interesting though? Like you were expecting like everyone to be like, "Oh my God, where'd you go?" This is
in my mind. I'm like, everyone's sitting at their computer and they're not getting notified, and now they're like going crazy because they're like, "Well, what's happening to her?" But it's not like that.
It's not like that. It's crazy that it's not like that though, because we all think that it is.
Yeah.
We all think it's like, oh God, if I don't do this, I'm gonna lose this. I'm gonna lose that. I'm gonna lose this. Mm-hmm. But that's a terrible mentality to have.
I know it is.
Because it like gets us so, you know what I mean? It
gets
us so crazy.
You're like worse off.
Right. Yeah. And almost you are worse off.
You are.
Okay, so that's the.
It's really important.
I agree. I agree. That's the social media questions that I have for you. I wanted to trudge through those.
Ooh, we did it.
We did. So okay, how about this now?
Sure.
What's something you wish your following knew about you?
Ooh.
Like that you're not like super public about or whatever. It doesn't have to be like a secret, but like
I know. Well,
what's something that they knew that you wish they knew about you?
I like don't take note of how much I talk. So I'm like, there's probably so many things that I've said that I like don't even realize that people already know about me or they don't.
Right.
And like everything I said in the beginning about me illustrating my mom's book.
Right.
Me singing in my dad's like couple CDs that he's put out.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to live stream and sing live, and that I miss. I do really like singing, so maybe something for the future would be coming out with like a song.
Okay.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be super cool.
I have lots of things in the works, lots of things I like to do, but lots of things also cost money.
Sure.
And there's also the like back of my head, I'm thinking like, oh great, if I put out a song and it's actually like trash, then everyone on the internet's gonna be like, wow, she's only putting out music because she has a following. Of course, typical influencer thing.
Right.
But you know, you can only think so much about the bad things people can say.
See, but that would be a great video though. If you were gonna do if you were gonna do
right,
it, you could
it's already pre-planned.
But that's what I mean. Like you could do it. You could do a video where you're talking about your background in music and that you really did want to do, something like that.
That's
so then this way people would know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. There's lots of things that I guess aren't that like public about me, but like I have no problem talking about. So it's not really secretive. But
right.
Yeah. Music, painting, art.
Music and painting. Okay, so even going into music with this is a follow-up. What do you see yourself doing in the future? Like what's your dream project?
Well, I created this dream a long time ago, and was accepted into college to do so, but it's on hold because I wanted to move to LA first and then waste all my money here. Not waste.
Waste all your money.
Waste all my money here. Because you can go to college whenever, but I really want to go to school for animation.
Oh.
And I would really love to animate for Disney or something.
That's amazing.
That's a ultimate dream.
That's a
ultimate dream. But that has nothing to do with what I'm doing today.
That's
but while I'm young and feel like doing this, might as well do this now. And then when I feel like sitting in a stall, like at a desk, for 30 years, working on the next Disney film. Like, I can do that.
For sure. I mean, look, you got the Rick and Morty, you're head to toe in that.
I know. Rick and Morty.
They're so good, though.
Thank you.
Rick and Morty is my favorite.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
So, like, something like, would you do something like that? Like, some show like that? It'd have to be, like...
No, I really want, like, Disney.
Like Disney.
Disney film.
Yeah.
I have...
Like princesses
biggest love for Disney. Yeah. I mean, I always kind of wanted to do like voices.
Oh yeah.
I would love to sing and be like a Disney princess on, some film. But just being a part of the filmmaking process of like an animation is something I really want to do.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
There's a lot of math behind it though, and I hate math so much.
I'm not a math guy.
I'm also just not a school person either, so this is all could be very tragic, and this just could be like words going out and, never making sense in the end, but...
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. That's amazing.
There you go. But I was accepted into school. That's something I could do.
That's amazing, though. That's super cool. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, so animation.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to keep my brain working on that. I might have some connections for you. We'll see.
Ooh. Get back to me when I don't feel like doing YouTube anymore.
Exactly, yeah. I'll hold that in my calendar. I'll hold that in the calendar.
Oh, yeah. No, I have a good plan. I have some like things I want to do.
Good.
Yeah, but that's the one that I'm not starting yet.
Right, but that's like the ultimate thing.
Once I have like a few companies and I'm just making money from.
I like you say a few companies, not just one, a few.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just small plans.
Okay, so we've gone through the whole thing.
Yes.
We've gone through the whole thing. This is the end.
I love voices.
I love doing voices. That's like one of my favorite things. When she was like, Amber was like, hey, let's do podcast stuff. And I was like, oh, yes, I get to do voices.
I love voices.
All about voices.
Dude, all the videos on YouTube of people doing like the Optimus Prime voice.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
And then doing a Mickey voice. I'm like, oh my gosh, it blows my mind. I love voices. Like, I love that realm.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's something I would want. I would want to get into that as well. That's something I want to get into.
Do it.
I'm going to do it.
Do it. Okay, now you have to finish the podcast with a
voice.
With
yeah.
A voice, yeah.
Okay, but hold on. So let's see. This is something. So the way I like to end these shows is I like to end them with optimism and inspiration, right? So what's one thing that you would tell the next generation of creators, the people who are new, like coming into this world, like new people who are creating, the new people who are going to be. Whatever platforms are out there, like what would you tell them about your experience so far?
Wow.
Good question, right?
I know. My mind first goes to just remembering the first people that got you there. Mm-hmm. And your first supporters, which could be your family, could be your close friends. Mm-hmm. Like, do not stray far from them. Because they're the ones that were there in the beginning, and they're the ones that are gonna be there for you.
Right.
So
that's
away.
Great though. Mm-hmm. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing that I do. So I started this with my first podcast. I want you to leave us with a line of inspiration, like one line, one sentence, because what I'm gonna do is I print out the quote and I put it up on the wall next to all the other quotes. So The first one was up there from Carrie Boy, who was my first guest. So I would ask what would be your one sentence of inspiration?
Well, I'm gonna go with one of my favorite quotes.
Okay.
From
I'm gonna write this. I have to write it down. So go for it.
Meet the Robinsons.
Okay.
Keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
Simple, but
it's great though.
I mean, so much can happen if you just keep moving.
I agree.
What can happen if you sit in one place, forever? Nothing.
Well, what can happen if you sit in a place and record a podcast for an hour?
I don't know.
A lot. Let's hope.
Well, if we weren't talking at all, nothing.
Exactly. Oh my God. All right, Hannah, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me about this stuff.
Thanks for letting me talk about myself.
Absolutely. That's the whole point of these things,
It's my
right?
favorite thing.
So, all right, tell everyone where they could find you, where they could support you, all that kind of stuff.
Sure, you guys can find me anywhere if you just type in Hannah Forcier. That's HANNAHFORCIER. Mainly on YouTube, but Instagram is where you can DM me and talk to me more.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it, guys.
That's it.
That's an amazing one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yay!
All right. We will see you guys next week for my next episode. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey now, come follow me. We got a whole new world to build, baby. Creating everything all around us. Can't stop. We gotta go. We gotta get elevated, get in the know. You're about to learn all about us.
We're sorry. The number you have reached is not in service.